Hey everybody, Bart here. Happy Friday. It is Friday, it's almost the weekend, and I just wanted to share a quick core workout followed by a couple easy stretches that will feel like you've gotten some good work in and you've gotten a little bit of relaxation in. Working out at home could be really simple. Now, some of the coolest trends that emerged in the last few years have been about tempo and timing, and they've proved scientifically that everything matters. 4-minute workout, if you had 0 the day before, well, that's 4 minutes of success. It's not always about spending an hour. When you're at home, you can be more efficient with your time. When you're at the gym and you're, kind of waiting around for other people and you're at the whim of their exercise, well, that's not as efficient. But when you're at home, it can be very efficient. So I'm going to start my core exercise with some seated windmills. I'm just going to rock 3 times clockwise, 3 times counterclockwise. So this starts to increase the mobility of my spine. As I lean lower, I'm working my hips. I'm starting to activate my gluteal muscles. Now I've started to warm up my cervical spine. After I work in circles, I'll work into a side bend. Now for me, I'm pretty flexible here. You might still be right here, where I'll turn the hand over, like the inner ballerina that we all have inside of us. And so I'm opening up my lats, so now I'm working the side body. When I was doing my windmills, I was targeting lower back, glutes, and cervical spine. This I call my side body. So after I work one side, I'll work through the other side. And I lingered on the other side to kind of labor home the point of what I was doing. You see how I dropped my ear over? I can turn to look up. I can turn to look down. I notice my shoulder is a little bit more willing to do what I want it to do when I'm looking up at it. When I start to turn away, then I start to move. Other muscles right here will affect where my shoulder is. So keeping my chest open, I'll probably have more success leaning up. Next, I'm going to work my shoulder girdle. I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my hips and do some chest expansion. Little pendulum swing, followed by some figure eights. All right, I might end with a chest expansion, so or a spinal extension, so modified staff pose. My fingers face my feet. I lift my chest. Oh, tight. This one will help stretch the biceps too, which is really hard to do. Now, I've been bad in my examples. I haven't been setting a cadence for breath. I'm just demonstrating some of these exercises for you. To the length at which you practice them, that'll be your decision. How many times you breathe into it, up to you. Do breathe, take some time. Don't rush into a pose or a stretch and then rush out of it. That's not gonna help you at all. It's just gonna create more stress. So now that I've stretched my shoulders in both ways, I stretch the side body. Now I'm going to stretch my spine forward into flexion. I've done extension, I've done side bend, I've done rotation. This is the last little bit. So that's a full stretch right there, full stretching routine for you to do from a seat. Really easy to do, very effective. The only thing we didn't do was twist, and so we'll do twists once we finish the core exercises. So the core exercises, without further ado, I'm going to work on a modification of seated bicycles. So I'm going to take my elbow up above the knee. I'm going to get a slight recline, so I'm reclining the whole time. I'm going to work up above the knee, so I'm not dropping down. And so I'm going to do bicycle crunches in alternation. Sometimes we call this alternating bicycle crunches. Sometimes we just call it bicycle crunches. My prescription for you is 2 sets, 10 repetitions left leg, 2 sets, 10 repetitions right leg. All right, next exercise are seated rows. I'm gonna give you a variety of ways to do that, or seated rowing crunches. So now I'm still using my hip flexors, but my arms are relaxed. My arms don't have to relax. They could be right here. They could be right here. And if I have a lot of lower back pain, I might just do out and in. I'm still working my core. I'm just not putting my lower back at risk. My prescription for this exercise, or this exercise, this exercise, or this exercise, 2 sets of 10 repetitions. And so it's not left, right, 20 reps total. The first one, 10 reps total each set. Before, we had 20 reps each set because we had left leg and then right leg. All right, next exercise, leg downs. So this one, you just want to grab something heavy. One of my favorite exercises I've been waiting to show you all. In the gym, I would hold a kettlebell. Now I have a couple kettlebells. I'm using a 25 pound. That should be sufficient. I'm 6'3", 200 pounds. So the 25 pounder is gonna help me out. It'll be just fine. So reaching for my kettlebell, I'm gonna hold it behind my head. I'm gonna lift my hips up, and then I'm gonna slowly lower my legs. Leg down, so I'm not doing leg lifts. I'm moving slowly. I'm gonna find that angle right around 30 degrees where my lower back wants to bobble up and sway. And I'm gonna pull back in, lift up, slowly lift my hips, slowly lower my hips, toes up, legs tighten together, and I'm slowly lowering the legs, pulling in. So that's the leg down. Just to contrast the leg lifts, I have my hands under, I'm focusing on up, not down. Down's forgotten. All right. And I'm going to prescribe that you do that 2 sets, 10 repetitions. Now to make this easy for your spine, don't lift the hips if you have lower back pain. That part is just extra. The slow lower of the legs to about 30 degrees, that's going to create a lot of tension in the abs. It's going to get you a lot of work. All right? And so as I'm winding down, I'll work butterfly stretch. So I'll get my hips a little love. We did some exercises, those rowing crunches, the seated bicycle crunches, where the hip flexors get blown up. So I do my butterfly, and I'm gonna finish with a seated twist. So with this one, I'm pulling my left foot inside the right knee, and when I'm doing the other side, just the opposite. So I'm gonna demonstrate with my left knee, taking my bicep around the top of the left knee, sitting up tall. I'm gonna inhale, exhale, plant my left hand down behind the back, and I'm gonna strike a pose. This is seated twist 1. This is the most entry level of the seated twists. It gets harder, and if you want to, you can follow along in my yoga series, and then you'll see some great examples from my live stream. All right, so just to even it out so you can see what it looked like on the other side. Sit up nice and tall. You can tell there's no drop in my body. That's the worst thing we could do. We want to be upright and turn with good posture in the spine. All right, so there's our Friday afternoon core and stretch. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.